The High Court in Pretoria has officially reserved judgment in the contentious repatriation case involving the late Zambian president Edgar Lungu, marking a pivotal moment in a legal battle that has stirred both political and emotional tensions across borders. The decision to delay a final ruling follows a heated appeal filed by Lungu's family, who are challenging a prior court order that mandated the transfer of his remains to Zambia for a state funeral. The case has drawn widespread attention, not only for its legal implications, but also for its symbolic resonance in the ongoing debate over the intersection of personal wishes, national protocol, and political legacy. At the heart of the dispute lies a fundamental disagreement between the Zambian government and Lungu's immediate family regarding the appropriate location and nature of his burial. While the state insists on honoring the former president with a ceremonial interment at Embassy Park in Lusaka, a site reserved for Zambia's heads of state since independence, his relatives argue that Lungu had expressed a clear desire to be buried privately in South Africa, away from the political spotlight. Represented by prominent constitutional lawyer Tembeka Nkukai-Tobi, the family contends that the initial ruling disregarded their rights and failed to respect the deceased's final wishes, raising broader questions about autonomy, dignity, and the politicization of death. The legal proceedings have unfolded against a backdrop of heightened political sensitivity, with critics accusing the current administration of President Hakainde Hichilema of leveraging the funeral arrangements to reinforce state authority and control the narrative surrounding Lungu's legacy. Supporters of the family's position argue that the government's insistence on a state funeral is less about honoring the late president and more about consolidating symbolic power, particularly in a region where political transitions are often fraught with tension and contested memory. The case has thus become a proxy for deeper ideological divisions within Zambian society, reflecting competing visions of national identity, historical continuity, and the role of political ritual. During the latest hearing, a panel of 3 judges, led by Justice Aubrey Ledwaba, listened to detailed arguments from both sides, ultimately choosing to reserve judgment without specifying a timeline for the final decision. Legal analysts suggest that the delay may reflect the complexity of the case, which touches on constitutional rights, international jurisdiction, and the delicate balance between state prerogative and familial autonomy. The absence of a clear ruling has left the situation in limbo, with Lungu's body remaining in South Africa under private custody, pending further legal clarification. Beyond the immediate legal stakes, the case has sparked a broader public conversation about the ethics of posthumous decision-making and the extent to which governments should intervene in matters of personal grief and remembrance. In Zambia, where political figures often become symbols of national struggle and aspiration, the question of where and how a former president is buried carries profound cultural and emotional weight. For many Zambians, the dispute over Lungu's final resting place is not merely a procedural matter, but a reflection of deeper anxieties about legacy, legitimacy, and the contested meaning of leadership. Observers note that the case could set a precedent for future disputes involving high-profile figures, particularly in African contexts, where the line between public service and personal identity is often blurred. The outcome may influence how courts interpret the rights of families versus the interests of the state, especially in situations where political symbolism intersects with private mourning. It also raises important questions about the role of the judiciary in mediating such conflicts, and whether legal institutions are equipped to navigate the emotional and symbolic dimensions of death in the public sphere. As the nation awaits the court's final decision, the debate continues to evolve, drawing in voices from across the political spectrum, civil society, and the diaspora. For many Zambians, the case has become a moment of reflection on the values that define their democracy, the responsibilities of leadership, and the enduring power of memory. Whether the court ultimately sides with the family or the state, the implications of its ruling will reverberate far beyond the courtroom, shaping the contours of national discourse and the legacy of Edgar Lungu for years to come.